Hello and welcome to Flick Check. I once again am your host, Andrew Woltman. I want to thank everyone who tuned into my first episode. I received a numerous amount of support from many of you congratulating me. I've also received a bunch of spam messages to my inbox offering to teach me how to make $200 a day from the comfort of my own home. Either way, I'd consider it a success. Let's talk movie news. This week, LeBron James, the forward for the Miami Heat, was cast in Judd Apatow's next movie. And I'm not even kidding. This is the actual name of the movie, Trainwreck. Folks, the last time a headline was its own punchline, it involved a congressman named Wiener who took pictures of his crotch and put them on Twitter. Now, I'm not saying that athletes are bad actors. Quite the contrary. Former defensive end for the San Diego Chargers, Terry Crews. Very talented man. He knows his way around comedy. He knows his way around action. He's worked at it since he's retired from the NFL. And former wrestler Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He's done some family comedies. He's done some action. I mean, they don't exactly have big ranges now that I think about it. But they still have enough talent to make it worthwhile. However, LeBron James hasn't been field tested aside from one episode of Saturday Night Live. So how much faith can we really have in this man? Unless he's playing a fictional version of himself, expect the worst. Neighbor time. Did I like it? Yes. One step above, I loved it. Not the greatest movie ever made, but a very solid one at that. Now, when it comes to fraternity movies, they have a pretty basic structure. You got the kids partying, you got the crusty old dean that doesn't want anyone to have fun. Frankly, if you look at something like Animal House, there's your basic template right there. And that's a jewel. That's a classic. I'm a zit. You can't beat Belushi when it comes to that. However, Neighbors doesn't try to. Neighbors takes the fraternity into the neighborhood itself. It shows you the conflict that happens when it moves next to this new suburban couple with their newborn baby. And they're trying to recapture their youth. They just had the kid. It's a very, very deep thought process, especially for something coming from Camp Rogan. And in the mindset of the fraternity, I can relate to it a lot. I'm not in a fraternity. I know people in a fraternity. Very nice people. But the mindset of the college student, I am very familiar with. It raises some very deep, very interesting questions about where your mind should be focused. What should you be doing with your life when the party is over? Very, very deep questions. Some that I was thinking about in the car on the way back to campus. What did I not like about the movie? It was a little too neatly wrapped for my taste. A little homely. Not a very realistic ending for many of the subplots. The main plot, fine. The subplots, such as the ones involving Ike Barinholtz and his character Jimmy, they had a very good setup, but it seemed like the writers were too focused on the main story to wrap up the smaller details. Not a huge complaint, but one that could have made the movie a lot better. Let's talk the performances. Seth Rogen, very talented, very funny, very believable as a new father struggling to accept the fact that he has new responsibilities in his life. I don't really have any complaints about him in this movie specifically. This is more of a general Roganism complaint. Play something different. You don't have to be the pothead slacker that always talks about his cock in every movie. You just need some new tools, Seth. You're still very funny to me. But eventually, you're going to grow stale. So, work on some new things. Zac Efron. Easily the most talented person in the High School Musical movies. Well, up until now, he's mainly been that Disney-fied dreamboat that girls go home, look at the poster on their wall and say, someday I'm going to make you my husband. Here he's kind of an asshole, and that's a good thing. Because he gets a more dynamic range than he's had before. This is a guy that doesn't realize that he needs to grow up at some point. And Efron nails that because he underplays the character's insecurities. There's no better way to say that. Zac Efron, he is the star of this movie. And he has the best performance. Rose Byrne. I'm mainly more familiar with her from X-Men First Class, so I didn't really see how she would fit into the movie when I first heard she would be in it. But she actually blends into the aesthetic of the other cast members very well. And I very much enjoyed her. She gets some great one-liners. I'll give her a pass. So let's wrap it up now. Neighbors, I'll give it a check plus. Definitely check it out. It's not the greatest movie you'll ever see, and it's not as good as it could be, but it's a great movie, very funny, very worth your money. Closing time. Tomorrow is Mother's Day. I want to give a very special shout out to my mother, Denise Woltman. Thank you for everything you've done over the years. I hope you have a great day. And now I have an extremely special announcement for everyone. Very soon I will start posting my movie reviews on the entertainment website Place to Be Nation. For you wrestling fans, they have a lot of good stuff on there. Once again, this has been Flick Check. I've been your host, Andrew Woltman. And remember, if you're unsure about a flick, let me give it a check. Have a good night.